guys? It's George, and I'm here for our second episode of Comic Book Club. Our first episode was live, but this is the first official full episode of Comic Club on its own. With me, as always, is my panel of fellow comic book readers. We got Chad in the house. What's up, Chad?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and be talking what I guess I know best. So thank you guys for reading. That's awesome.
We got Seth, the Pop Night Bear, in the house. What's up, Seth?
I like to read.
That's good to know, Seth.
Reading is fundamental.
And we have Calvin, Statue Fanatic, in the house. What's up?
Yes. Let's go. Let's do this.
And then we are going to be talking about the Detective Comics 998. We got 2 more comics into issue 1000. So, Chad, take it away, buddy. Tell us a little backstory about what brought us to this comic.
Yeah, I guess leading up to this, so before, what we have is the anniversary of Bruce Wayne's parents' death, and someone's been kind of like reenacting these, I guess, tragic things that happened to him and his family when he was younger, and they're using bodies, of people that they're discovering that were missing and found and whatnot. And then I guess what really leads us up, as he's trying to detect things, he winds up finding out that I guess Hugo Strange is part of this, and that's kind of where Detective 997 ends off and where we start off in 998. So this is like a really short synopsis, and I guess some of my favorite things leading up to that, you kind of get glimpses of Thomas Wayne Batman and kind of, I guess, someone really messing with Bruce and Batman in his head. So that's where we are now with Batman confronting Hugo Strange. And I guess
all right,
we could take it from there. I don't know if anyone...
I'll take it from there.
Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
I did read 998. I haven't read Detective Comics in a while. It's been a very, very long time. I don't even want to say how long. But I was happy to read this and happy to find a jumping on point somewhere. But when I read it and we started at 998, I realized we probably should have gone back a little bit further to get a better picture of what was going on. I'm still a little lost, so maybe George can kind of explain things better. But I don't know. I guess what I would hope they would reveal is why these people are screwing with him so much, and I have no idea.
Yeah,
why
so
they're doing it.
we're not there yet. They didn't show it in this comic, and in the previous 4 comics, I think is what we had to read together. It starts at 994, and then you work your way up from there. It pretty much is Batman trying to figure out who is messing with him, and he doesn't really detect, and I think that's probably one of the issues that I'm having with the comic so far. He's kind of like just running from house to house, beating people up, and then finding out that he's in the wrong place, and then he needs to go on to the next one. So, and maybe that's how he's detecting in this one, but he's not really being a good detective. So,
bingo! I was trying to figure out what it was. Perfect, George.
But I will say the art style of this comic is really cool. That's really neat, and some of the things that they've been showing in there, I didn't know anything about. Like there's a suit that they show in this comic. What's their suit called, Chad?
Yeah, the Hellbat.
The Hellbat.
One of my favorite things, and I believe Calvin knows about this as well, because that took place during the metal, run that they had, or the metal saga that happened. So I thought that was cool that he brought that back, because that is a cool bat suit that he had, and this is. The writer on this now is Tomasi, and he just hopped on 994, as George was mentioning before. So definitely believe it's his first time possibly writing Batman. So it could definitely, I guess, that way. That I can see why you can say it didn't feel like he was doing any detective, work in a sense. And it's called Detective Comics. It's like, where are we searching for things here?
Seth, I'll let you go because I wanted to say something about that. But go ahead first. Seth.
Yeah, for reading this and kind of like jumping in the middle, I definitely did thought, to me at least, the most interesting part of this comic that I read was with the Hellfire suit. I thought that was super cool. How they did how they gave just a little bit of a backstory of how the suit was actually created, where basically he took bits and pieces of everyone from the Justice League, and it was basically like a contingency suit, so he could fight off everybody if he needed to. How the suit, his metabolism basically controlled the suit. So
that part I got.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I didn't get that the suit was made as a contingency for the Justice League.
Oh yeah, it said it. Yeah, it said it in there.
Did it? But the way I read it was that the Justice League helped build it.
Well, yeah, but but he's also using it too as a contingency.
Okay,
that's what it's for, because especially the part in the comic where they show the circuitry inside the suit,
it shows the Wonder Woman thing.
You see Superman's logo and Wonder Woman's logo there combined and everything, and how he was saying how it was forged in the sun, and Superman got it close to the sun.
That's why I'm saying that I feel like the Justice League helped build it, but I'm not certain if it's supposed to be a contingency for that or not. But whatever. I mean, is that right, Chad? I'm not.
I mean, he could. I definitely don't see why he couldn't use it for that reason.
Hold on a second. Let me check my notes.
Yeah.
Okay. While he checked his notes, I want to go back to the detective part, because I want to bring up Hush. This reminds me of kind of the premise of Hush when everybody was screwing around with him in that saga. But the detective part of that made it suspenseful when he was trying to figure it out, and there were all these clues along the way to bring the reader along with it, where here we were just going from one panel to the next, not really knowing how we were getting there. But there were no clues or anything that made me go like, oh, wow, I see that. I think that was a perfect way to explain that.
Yeah. And that's my problem with it.
Okay, so he doesn't specifically say the Justice League. But what he does says, a man's got to know his limitations, and being just flesh and bone, I've conceived and designed this suit with the singular purpose of going toe to toe with large scale threats and extreme battle scenarios.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's like an Iron Man suit essentially. So, but it's cool. I like the suit. I like the design of the suit. You know, it's very intimidating, and I like the panels that they had where they show him fighting against whatever that monster is. That's another thing I'm confused about too, is that this monster that is forming and attacking him. Like they touch on it on this comic that it's a manifestation of his fears. Mm-hmm. So how is that being created? And that's where I'm.
Well, and I think this could possibly tie in, and we all. For, I guess, spoiler alert for anyone that doesn't know, but I guess, this person is using Etrigan the Demon, like, as a vessel to, I guess, like, project this. Is that the best way to describe that? Mm-hmm. And I think it has to do something on the magic side. So I think somehow, some way, something like Justice League Dark is going to be tied into this. You might get Zatanna pop in. Or there might be someone like of the magical side, like pulling strings here, and I think that's why it's even more confusing, and why there might not be so much detective work, because like it's like I guess he doesn't really know what to go off of. Like, okay, this is where I could trace this back to, because I guess he thought Hugo just because of the way that those. George, you read the previous ones, right?
Right.
How he was using the different just his different enemies and stuff like that, and he was like projecting them in this way, and he had to like fight them all, and because it was something that necessarily there was no evidence for him to go off of, there's not much detective work, but at the same time I could see that gripe what you guys are saying, because it is called Detective Comics, but I think there's somehow gonna be like magic pulled into this. Well, it's gonna have something like that.
There's other things too, like you brought up Hugo, for example. When you're introduced to Hugo, he's wearing a Batman suit, which I'm like, why? It doesn't. I was more focused on the fact that he's wearing the Batman suit, and that Batman's not questioning why are you wearing the Batman suit.
Right. I thought some big revelation was going to happen at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to me, how I took it is leading up to this issue, and when I saw Hugo show up at the end, he was wearing the Batman suit, and he was like at one point, George, he's fighting like Batman with like his like self. Or like I guess it was like Thomas Wayne Batman, because leading up to this, the person that like confronts Alfred and all this, and it's a projection of Thomas Wayne Batman, which is from the Flashpoint universe, and that's really throwing Bruce off. So that's why he's trying to figure it out. And I guess once he gets in that scenario where all his different enemies are being like formed and he's fighting them off, he starts to just put things together. All right, it's got to be Hugo, because he's like the only mad scientist that could probably create something to project something like this. And then it just turns out Hugo's like at the end of that issue, he's in some like Batman, and it looks like Batman, in the Batman outfit, and it looks like he's controlling things. And you're like, all right, cool. And to me, when I read 997, I'm like, all right, he's stringing in Hugo Strange, and he's the one behind all this. But then, of course, as we read in this, that doesn't happen. So,
yeah, that's what made me lose it at that point. Because I remember he was fighting the manifestation, right? And that was
and he was fighting different like all his different enemies. He was fighting different. It almost seemed like he started fighting like Robins and stuff like that at one point. You know, it was just some sort of like, it seemed to be some sort of spell or some sort of hallucination he was having that he was fighting.
So what? Just changing a little bit. Why? I don't even know, because it all runs together. Reading all of it, what's this tension between him and his son that's going on? I mean, this has been going on forever. Did something else happen that I don't know about, where they said, if he has an open mind, then we'll talk about it?
Oh, him coming back as Robin. Well, I guess, the dynamic between Bruce and Damian, like they're very alike. And just like Bruce, he doesn't like to be told what to do, Damian. So anytime that, as Batman telling Robin, like, yo, you got to do this and that, and he kind of like goes off the beaten path, I guess he gets, I don't know. I mean, it's a dynamic that it doesn't seem to fit well because they're so much alike. So I know, and you can go back and read this, but there's a Grant Morrison run called Batman and Robin. And it's when Dick Grayson's Batman and Damian Wayne is Robin. And just the dynamic between Dick and Damian, I guess fit well together. And even when you read Damian in the normal Batman, like interact with Dick, they just like connect so much better. So I don't know if it's just something that people are afraid to like tackle, like as their dynamic, as Batman and Robin.
Yeah, because right off the bat, Batman comes in. He doesn't seem like he's saying anything out of the ordinary. And then, I mean, it doesn't seem like Damian's saying anything out of the ordinary. And then Batman goes, look, I'm not here for this father and son crap. And I was like, wow, that was rude.
Yeah, and Damian's not really there for that either, because he was like, the original storyline, he was kind of like just dropped off to Bruce, like, yo, this is your son, you gotta like take care of him now.
I'm assuming like issue 1000 they would have resolved some of these father-son issues by now.
Yeah, right. But who knows? They may do it in issue 1000. No, but there's definitely a respect level there between Damian, and I think you did see that because he had that moment. He's like, you know what? Yeah, I do gotta like straighten up. Because also too, outside of this, Damian's doing things with the Teen Titans. He's also him and Jonathan Kent and Super Sons. So, of course, I guess he hasn't really been in the Batman run because people have been using the character in other, titles. So this may be a way for them to eventually like bring him in, and hopefully he would like to, work on them as a duo, because we haven't seen Batman and Robin together, I guess, father and son in a little bit. So,
gotcha.
But there's so much alike, man. Like Damian, he's always trying to outdo his dad, and I guess how interesting is that? Like, how many times can you read that?
It's tough. It's tough when you live in someone else's shadow. So
no, for sure. But he's living even in a bigger shadow, because if you look at who his mom and who his grandfather is, that guy, he's got even a bigger mantle to fill, I feel like, So
what do you guys think about the comic overall?
I mean, I can't really give a much of an opinion, because you guys have read all the back issues and I've just read this one. So I mean, I can only tell you about what I read from this one. So again, coming in the middle, not really understanding the story. I thought it was meh at best. I mean, the only thing I really liked was the introduction of the Hellfire suit, which I thought was pretty cool. But other than that, that was it.
Calvin?
Having read all the other ones, I feel the same way he does. Seth does anyway, even though I did read the other ones. Honestly, the part that caught my attention the most was the relationship between Damian and his dad. Reading the other one too. Huh?
It was very brief too.
Yeah. It caught my attention. I'm like, well, I thought maybe they were actually going to explore that over the next couple of issues. So they didn't. All he did was run around being wrong about who was messing with him.
Someone has daddy issues.
Chad, you like the issues. You seem to be a fan of this writing.
I mean, yeah, I guess I think it's different that whatever Tomasi's doing, because I'm interested to see how he ties this all in. I guess to Calvin's point, it kind of has a lot of similarities to like Hush, where it's got that someone's pulling his fears as like his villain, so to speak. But no, I mean, I'm a big fan of, like, I guess, Etrigan the Demon. So when I saw him in there, I know it was short-lived, but I thought that was pretty cool. And I guess I'm excited to see what's going to happen in 1000, really. I guess you can hear on the 90 Miles from Comics podcast, because we'll be reviewing it. I know the other guys, this is a book that they've all been really enjoying and talking about it.
I'll tune in and hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah. I know this is one that Joe's been on, too. Like, it's super high on, Seth. So...
See,
but yeah,
me,
man,
I was a huge fan of Hush, and I generally like Batman comics, so I am a fan of Batman. But I felt like so far, maybe because we started at 998, but I felt like it's just been a series of panels, and I haven't had any kind of aha moment to make me feel like I've invested the time that I've invested has been worth it yet to me.
Yeah, there's been no clarity.
Yeah, like something like that. I don't even need clarity. I just need something like a little bit of a little speck to make me feel like that this is going in some direction. Because right now, I just feel like we're going from lost to lost to lost, and I don't have any kind of payoff yet.
I feel like I just stared at pictures for a couple minutes.
They were pretty pictures, though.
The
art looked good.
So colorful.
I thought the art was really good, and I thought that
was awesome.
The choreography with the fights I thought was really good also. So
now I will give him this: the panel and the reading was easy to follow.
Yeah, that was too.
It wasn't all over the place. Sometimes comics just frustrate me because the panel
they just bounce around from
chaotic
everywhere.
And it's not too wordy, too.
No, it's not. It was easy. It was an easy read.
Definitely was an easy read.
Are you saying I'm not intellectual enough to handle it?
No. Well, I mean, even me personally, like and it happens a lot with some comics where it's super wordy, and like it's something like, think about how not invested you guys are in this, and imagine if it was even wordier. You know what I mean? You're just like, all right, you probably wouldn't even finished it, And sometimes that happens with comics. Like they're too wordy, Like you want to. There should be a good flow and dynamic between words and picture to help you tell the story, And that's just, I guess, based on the creative teams working together.
Right. So thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Comic Book Club. We're going to be coming back at you next week with our the second issue of the Guardians of the Galaxy. We started that on our first episode if you want to catch up on that. So definitely check back with us. That'll be coming out next week. So,
and go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we're open for suggestions too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, for sure, man. If there's
That'd be
something
cool
we
too.
could be reading, let us know.
Yeah, let us know if it's something you guys want us to cover. Let us know in the comments. Let us know if you enjoy the show. Please, in the comments, let us know anything. We appreciate the feedback.
Just want to say hi and say hey.
Yeah.
Hey,
if you want to just say how much you love Seth, I understand.
Thanks.
So again, guys, we're going to be coming back at you with more episodes just like this. Stay tuned for all of that. Until next time, keep it marvelous.
Keep it marvelous, guys.